and I want to get out.
In 1983, two of the greatest artists who ever lived sat down to record together. Michael Jackson and Freddie Mercury. Three potential duets that could have changed music history. But Michael kept bringing his pet llama Louie into the studio. And sometimes his chimp Bubbles would sit between them during takes. And Michael would turn to him and ask, "Don't you think that was lovely? Should we do that again?" Freddie lost it. He called his manager and escaped. 3 legendary duets gone because of a llama and a chimpanzee. And that's just the beginning.
This song that this 12-year-old kid came up with the title, Stay the Shot. And I said, look, write some lyrics. I said, how's a nice time? So he wrote some lyrics and read them to me. Then I put the music to it with guitars and stuff. And I put the melody to the vocal. I always wanted to do something like that.
Welcome back. Let's dive into 20 more facts about Michael Jackson that will completely blow your mind. Fact 1. When Eddie Van Halen recorded his guitar solo on Beat It, the sound was so intense that a studio speaker literally caught fire. Here's the crazy part. Van Halen did the whole thing for free, in about 20 minutes, without telling his bandmates. Quincy Jones called him out of nowhere. Eddie thought it was a prank call and cursed him out. "What do you want, you effing so-and-so?" When he realized it was actually Quincy Jones, he apologized and showed up the next day. But Eddie didn't just play. He asked if he could restructure the song. He cut it up, moved sections around, then recorded 2 takes of one of the most iconic guitar solos in history. When Michael walked back in and heard what Eddie had done to his song, Eddie thought he might get thrown out. Instead, Michael said, "Wow, thank you so much for having the passion to not just come in and blaze a solo, but to actually care about the song and make it better."
Well, I didn't ask for anything. It was about 20 minutes out of my life. Quincy had called me up and asked me if I wanted to do it. And honest to God truth, the band's policy was, we don't do things outside of the band at the time. And everybody's out of town, so I had no one to ask. And I swear to God, I figured, who's going to know if I play on this Black Kids record? But the funniest thing of all was I actually rearranged the song. The section they wanted me to solo over, it was just, there's no chord changes underneath it. So I had to rearrange the song, and then Michael came in and I said, "Oh, I hope you don't mind, I changed your song." And he listens and he goes, "No, I really like that high-fast stuff you do." And that was it.
Eddie was never credited on the album. Years later, he was at a Tower Records when Beat It came on. Some kids in front of him said, "Listen to this guy trying to sound like Eddie Van Halen." Eddie tapped one on the shoulder and said, "That is me." Fact 2. That soft, high-pitched voice Michael used in interviews, it was completely fake.
Every song is different. Sometimes it happens quickly, sometimes it happens slowly. No one can quite say what the creative process is because I have nothing to do with it almost, because it's created in space. It's God's work, not mine.
People who knew him personally confirm his real speaking voice was deep and masculine. Liza Minnelli once caught him using his natural voice on a phone call. She confronted him and said, "Michael, you're busted. I got you now. All these years you've been talking in that voice." Journalist Diane DeMond covered his trial and heard it firsthand. She said when someone asked about a lawyer he didn't like, Michael turned and said she can go to hell, in this deep, powerful voice that shocked everyone in the room. You can actually hear it in some performances. During In the Closet on the History Tour, his voice suddenly drops to this deep, almost menacing register.
Just a letter, give me back. It's worth the giving, it's worth the try.
One thing in life you must understand: the truth of lust, woman to man.
Fans have debated for years whether he used the soft voice to protect his singing range or to maintain a childlike image. But his real voice? Completely different person.
The person in this new special I'm doing called My Best Friend Michael Jackson, I show him talking in his real voice. He'd go, "I want it done now, get it done now." And he'd go, and he did not talk like, "Hi, how are you?" That was all phone.
Fact 3. In 1987, Michael Jackson tried to buy a human skeleton. Not just any skeleton, the remains of Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man, a man who lived in the 1800s with severe deformities and was displayed in freak shows before finding refuge in a London hospital. Michael offered $500,000. The hospital said no. He doubled it to $1 million. They still refused. Michael later denied it, telling Oprah, "Where am I going to put some bones?"
Did you buy the Elephant Man's bones? Were you trying to get them?
That's another stupid story. I love the story of the Elephant Man. It reminds me of me a lot. You know, I could relate to it. It made me cry because I saw myself in the story. But no, I never asked for the Elephant Man. Where am I going to put some bones?
I don't know.
And why would I want a pair of bones?
But hospital administrators confirmed on radio that he made 2 separate bids. They described Michael visiting the museum where the skeleton is kept, sitting alone next to it just contemplating. Why was he obsessed? Michael saw himself in Merrick's story. A man judged entirely by his appearance, called a freak, isolated, misunderstood. In his Leave Me Alone video, Michael actually dances with an animated version of Merrick's skeleton, his way of responding to the tabloids by connecting their shared struggles. Fact 4. That iconic Thriller music video, with all the zombies and dancers, every single costume came from a thrift store. The Salvation Army, to be exact. Michael grew up poor in a 2-bedroom house with 9 siblings in Gary, Indiana. Even when he became the most famous person on the planet, he never forgot where he came from. He loved bargain hunting. He would go to thrift stores himself and talk about finding quality pieces for almost nothing. The video that changed music forever, the 14-minute short film with groundbreaking special effects, dressed in second-hand clothes from a charity shop. Fact 5. Before Michael performed at the 1993 Super Bowl, he made one demand to the NFL. He wanted them to push the entire game back by 3 hours. He wanted the kickoff moved from 3:25 p.m. to nighttime, because he felt his performance would look better in the dark with stage lighting. The NFL said no. But here's what happened anyway. Michael appeared on the giant screens, then exploded onto the stage. And then he did something no performer had ever done before. He stood completely still, for almost 2 minutes, silent, not moving a muscle, just standing there while 133 million people watched. The crowd went absolutely insane. People screamed, cried, couldn't believe what they were witnessing. Who else could command that kind of attention by doing literally nothing? Before Michael, Super Bowl halftime shows featured marching bands and Elvis impersonators. People used the break to get snacks. After Michael, every major artist wanted that slot. Prince, Beyoncé, Lady Gaga, they're all following a template Michael Jackson created by standing still for 2 minutes. Fact 6. Michael was secretly almost completely bald. After the 1984 Pepsi commercial accident, where his hair caught fire, Michael suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his scalp. A permanent palm-sized bald spot that never healed. For the next 25 years, he wore wigs and hairpieces. But here's the bizarre part. He had his hairline permanently tattooed onto his head. His eyebrows were tattooed black. His lips were tattooed pink. When he died, the autopsy revealed the full extent. His shoulder-length hair was a wig, glued to a scarred scalp with only patches of peach fuzz remaining. The man the world saw on stage was an illusion he rebuilt piece by piece after that fire. Fact 7. Michael wanted to perform a concert on Mars. This isn't a joke. According to his friend Uri Geller, Michael once asked, "Hey Uri, can you get me to the moon?" Geller actually contacted NASA officials to explore the possibility. But Michael's dreams didn't stop there. In 2005, after his acquittal, he planned a Las Vegas comeback with a 50-foot robot version of himself that would roam the Nevada desert, visible to tourists landing at the airport. Laser beams shooting from its eyes. The whole thing. When that didn't work out, he redesigned the idea into a Michael Jackson-themed hotel and casino, with a Transformers-style robot at the entrance, whose face would move and shoot lights. Neither ever happened. But somewhere in storage there are sketches of a 50-foot Michael Jackson robot shooting lasers across the desert. Fact 8. Michael Jackson secretly composed music for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. In 1993, Sega hired Michael to write the soundtrack for their biggest video game. He worked with his keyboardist Brad Buxer and created around 41 tracks. But Michael was a perfectionist. When he heard how the music sounded on the game console's primitive speakers, he was furious. He felt the technology devalued his music and refused to be credited. Here's the twist. The music he wrote for the game didn't disappear. The end credits theme of Sonic 3, it became the foundation for Stranger in Moscow, one of his most haunting songs.
Like stranger in Moscow.
Buxer later confirmed Michael only sat down with him for one track. The rest, Michael just said, "Brad, you do it." But that one track they worked on together later became a top 10 hit around the world. You can still hear Michael's fingerprints all over the game. Elements from Jam appear in one level, and there's beatboxing that sounds exactly like it. Fact 9. Michael Jackson recorded wolf howls for Thriller himself. The producers originally planned to use a real wolf. They brought a trained one to the studio, but the animal wouldn't howl on command. So Michael stepped up to the microphone and did it himself. Those chilling howls you hear in Thriller, that's him. He also recorded the creaking sounds you hear throughout, some using actual props from Universal Studios' horror collection. Vincent Price's famous spoken word rap at the end?
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand.
He recorded it in just 2 takes. Price chose a flat fee of $20,000 instead of royalty points. Thriller has sold over 70 million copies. Had he taken the percentage, he would have made millions. Fact 10. In 2016, Michael Jackson earned $825 million in a single year. Not bad for someone who had been dead for 7 years. He broke the record for highest earning celebrity ever, living or dead. He's topped Forbes' list of highest earning deceased celebrities multiple times. In 2018, he made $400 million. In the first 24 hours after his death, Amazon's sale of Michael Jackson music equaled the previous 11 years combined. People who hadn't bought his albums in decades suddenly needed to own them again. Fact 11. The song Billie Jean almost had a completely different intro.
More kicking stuff in the phones, I need it.
Quincy Jones wanted to cut it. He thought the 29-second bass intro was too long and would bore listeners. Michael refused to change a single second. "That's the jelly," Michael said. "That's what makes me want to dance." They mixed the song 91 times. In the end, they used mix number 2. While Michael was writing Billie Jean, he was so absorbed in the music that he didn't notice his car had caught fire. A motorcyclist had to pull over and warn him. Michael was so deep in the creative zone that his car was burning and he didn't realize it. Fact 12. Michael didn't invent the moonwalk, but he did something nobody talks about. He taught his chimpanzee Bubbles how to do it.
Let me see you do your stuff, Bubbles. Moonwalk. All right. You're a good old guy. Thank you, Bob, very much. Thank you, Bubbles.
Bubbles lived like royalty. He slept in a crib, ate at the dining table, used the toilet, and walked red carpets. Michael dressed him in matching outfits. They were inseparable. But as Bubbles went through puberty, he became aggressive and dangerous. Michael had to send him away to a sanctuary. In 2003, reports surfaced that Bubbles had attempted suicide and needed medical attention. Fact 13. James Brown was Michael's original inspiration. When Michael was just 6 years old, his mother would wake him up, no matter what time it was, to watch James Brown perform on TV. It became a ritual. Decades later at Brown's funeral in 2007, Michael gave a eulogy.
My greatest inspiration. Ever since I was a small child, no more than like 6 years old, my mother would wake me no matter what time it was. I was sleeping, no matter what I was doing, to watch the television to see the master at work. And when I saw him move, I was mesmerized. I've never seen a performer perform like James Brown, and right then and there, I knew that that was exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of my life because of James Brown.
Every spin, every kick, every grunt traces back to a little kid watching James Brown in the middle of the night. Fact 14. That cry at the end of She's Out of My Life, those are real tears. Michael broke down crying at the end of every single take. 8 to 11 takes depending on who's telling the story. Every time he started sobbing. Producer Quincy Jones was so moved he decided to keep the tears in the final recording. No one knows exactly what Michael was thinking about. The raw emotion is just there, forever captured.
She's out of my life.
Fact 15. Prince was supposed to be on Bad. Michael wrote the song as a duet. Prince was going to sing Your Butt Is Mine while Michael responded. Two legends, one track. Prince read the lyrics and said no. He couldn't sing Your Butt Is Mine to Michael Jackson.
The first line of that song is Your Butt Is Mine. Your butt is mine. Now I said, who gonna sing that to whom? Cause you sure ain't singing it to me. And I sure ain't singing it to you. So, right there we got a problem.
According to Sheila E., Prince actually recorded his own version of the song. Then he erased it. He just wanted to see if he could do it.
So we went and we re-recorded Bad. It was so funky. It was so amazing. It was an incredible rendition of what it should have been. And then after we recorded it, we're like, oh my God, we can't wait for Michael to hear it. Then Prince went like this, record, and he erased the whole thing. Right there.
Fact 16. The Scream video cost $7 million. In 1995, that made it the most expensive music video ever made. A record it still holds according to Guinness. $5 million of that went to building sets. What most people don't know? Michael paid for the entire thing himself. His sister Janet was featured in the video, and he covered every expense so she wouldn't have to. Fact 17. Neverland Ranch had its own working railroad system. Not one train, 3 separate railroads, plus a Ferris wheel, a roller coaster, bumper cars, a full zoo, and a carousel. Michael bought the 2,700-acre property for somewhere between $17 and $30 million. He spent another $35 million on improvements. He named it after the place where Peter Pan lived because he identified so deeply with the boy who never grew up. Elizabeth Taylor got married there in 1991. Michael paid between $1.5 and $2 million for the wedding. A paparazzo actually parachuted onto the property to crash it. Fact 18. Michael supported 39 different charities. Guinness World Records confirmed this is the most charitable acts by a pop star. Estimates suggest he donated over $300 million during his lifetime. When he won his settlement from Pepsi after the fire, $1.5 million, he gave all of it to the burn center that treated him. They renamed their burn unit after him. Every concert on his victory tour, those proceeds went directly to charity. Between $3 and $5 million given away completely.
We stand together all around the world, joined in a common purpose to remake the planet into a haven of joy and understanding and goodness. No one should have to suffer, especially our children.
Fact 19. Michael tested new songs with his body. He had a rule: if my body doesn't move, the song is not good. When producers played him demos, he wouldn't analyze them intellectually. He would just listen and see if his body started dancing on its own. If it didn't move, he rejected the song immediately. No exceptions. Fact 20. At the time of his death, Michael was rehearsing for 50 shows at London's O2 Arena. The tour was called This Is It. It would have been his ultimate comeback. The shows sold out almost instantly. In the 12 months after his death, Michael sold 35 million albums. The year he died became his most commercially successful year ever, more than any year when he was alive. He died rehearsing for a comeback the world never got to see, and somehow in death he became more successful than ever. From a speaker catching fire during Beat It to secretly writing music for Sonic the Hedgehog, Michael's life was stranger than any fiction writer could imagine. Which fact shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you want more stories like this, hit subscribe and the notification bell. I've got plenty more where this came from. See you in the next video!